Did you know that the next pandemic may be closer than we think? This is not an exaggeration or an apocalyptic prediction. It's a warning. In recent years, we've seen the world tremble before viruses like COVID-19, Zika fever, and the SARS outbreak. Suddenly, airports closed, borders vanished, and millions were confined to their homes, isolated. But the most important question remains: have we learned from these events? If tomorrow brings us an even more lethal virus, are we truly ready to face what may come? Science has already shown us how vulnerable we are, but have technology and global preparedness advanced enough? The world is more connected than ever. A plane taking off today from a bustling city can, within hours, spread a pathogen to the other side of the planet. We live in an age of extraordinary advancements, but ironically, this makes us even more susceptible. It takes just one small system failure for chaos to unfold. Think back to the early months of COVID-19. Misinformation overwhelmed healthcare systems and a desperate race for solutions. How many of these failures could have been avoided? And more importantly, what can we do now to ensure that the next major challenge doesn't catch us by surprise? Emerging diseases are increasing at an alarming rate, and the reasons are clearer than we might imagine. Climate change, deforestation, and uncontrolled urban expansion create the perfect environment for new viruses to jump from animals to humans. Add the surge in international travel, where millions of people move daily between countries, and the result is an exponential risk of global pandemics. In 1918, the Spanish flu decimated millions. Decades later, HIV forever changed the way we view diseases. In the 21st century, we saw COVID-19 paralyze the world within months. What do these pandemics have in common? Failures in global preparation and response. We have never been so connected, but does that make us more vulnerable? This is the reflection that experts continue to raise. The world has changed, but our healthcare and prevention systems have not evolved at the same pace. Studies indicate that the next major outbreak could come from unexpected places, perhaps a small village or a dense metropolis, and reach unimaginable scales. The risks are here, clear and present, but ignoring them is a recipe for an announced disaster. Experts warn, it's not a question of if a new pandemic will happen, but when. And in this scenario, the time we lose today could cost millions of lives tomorrow. Looking at the current landscape, it's impossible to ignore the advances science has achieved. Technologies like mRNA vaccines emerged in record time, revolutionizing medicine and bringing hope amid chaos. However, even with these advancements, glaring failures in global public health infrastructure remain a colossal problem. Scarce resources, lack of coordination, and inequality in healthcare access left millions vulnerable during COVID-19. A clear example of this was the unequal vaccine distribution. While wealthy countries immunized their populations, others struggled to secure their first doses. Progress is real, but it is far from uniform. Reports from WHO and health experts highlight an important fact: investments in prevention remain insufficient. During the onset of the pandemic, we witnessed a lack of global communication and the absence of a cohesive plan lead to systemic collapses. Countries that reacted quickly, like South Korea, showed that combining technology and strategy can save lives, but these are exceptions, not the rule. Without an interconnected global system and robust public policies, the world will continue to face unnecessary risks. It's a paradoxical scenario. Technology is within our reach, but we still face a long journey to ensure everyone is prepared for what could happen tomorrow. To be truly prepared, We must invest where it matters most: science, innovation, and healthcare infrastructure. We need more advanced technologies for rapid diagnostics and even more efficient vaccines. Imagine a global early warning system capable of detecting outbreaks before they spread, like weather sensors identifying storms. Countries that develop robust public policies, such as mass testing programs and efficient tracking, demonstrated that acting early is the difference between control and chaos. It's not just about saving lives in the present, but creating a future where pandemics can be contained before causing irreversible damage. Beyond innovations, international collaboration must be treated as a priority. A virus does not respect borders, and the global response must also have no limits. Building interconnected public health infrastructures with equal investments in developed and developing countries is essential. We can learn from the best practices of countries like Taiwan and New Zealand, which quickly controlled outbreaks through strategic policies and effective communication with their populations. The next pandemic will require something more: unity, resources, and agility. For that, it's urgent to understand that global preparedness depends on all countries, not just a few. Science and technology have proven to be our greatest allies in fighting pandemics. Artificial intelligence, for example, is already revolutionizing the way we track and predict outbreaks. During the COVID-19 pandemic, AI algorithms were used to analyze patterns of viral mutations, while big data helped monitor the virus's spread in real time. Predictive models, combined with rapid data analysis, allow scientists to develop strategies even before the worst happens. Biotech companies and governments, working together, can accelerate the development of vaccines and treatments, shortening a process that once took years to mere months. One of the greatest examples of recent innovation was the creation of mRNA vaccines. In record time, science delivered the world an efficient and safe solution, showing the power of research when paired with resources and collaboration. Additionally, technological tools like drones for delivering medicine to remote areas and AI-based monitoring systems expand access to treatments more equitably. However, the impact of these innovations depends on how we utilize and invest in them today. Science may be our most powerful line of defense, but the responsibility to apply these tools globally will define success in the next crisis. Preparing for future pandemics doesn't depend solely on governments or science. Each individual has a fundamental role in this process. Imagine if everyone engaged in small actions that, together, would make a massive difference. Supporting vaccination campaigns, demanding investments in public health, and spreading reliable information are essential steps. Participating in public policy discussions and demanding transparency from leaders might seem small, but has a direct impact on how the world prepares. If you educate yourself on the topic and share knowledge, you help create a more conscious and resilient society. After all, your voice can be the difference between swift action or an avoidable collapse. Furthermore, our daily choices reflect how we will handle future emergencies. Reducing resource waste, supporting research institutions, and pushing for more investments in science are practical attitudes you can adopt. Want to go further? Engage in public health NGOs, participate in prevention events, and help spread the importance of global preparedness. Small actions create waves of impact, and every effort counts. When the world needs to act, it won't be just scientists and governments. Each of us has a role to play, and awareness is the first step toward transforming the future. The next pandemic is not a distant possibility. It is a certainty, simply waiting for the right moment to emerge. What we do today will define how we face this inevitable challenge. You can make a difference by advocating for investments in science, supporting public health policies, and most importantly, preparing yourself for the unexpected. We can no longer act as if nothing has happened. History has shown us the cost of inaction, and the future demands that we be faster, more united, and more strategic. Remember, the time to act is now, while we still have control. The future is, quite literally, in our hands. Do we want to repeat the mistakes of the past or be the generation that changed the course of history? The choice is ours, and every action matters. Don't let this message stop here. Share it, debate it, and do your part. Subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to keep learning how to be ready for a safer and more conscious future. The next pandemic may not come with a warning, but together we can ensure it doesn't catch us off guard. The world needs people like you, willing to act before it's too late.